talk about making flowers. Now, there are a couple different ways. You can do petals, which is what I loved about the fan shapes. And the picot shapes was the ability to do feather or to do petals. I know this one's in the shape of a leaf, but it would also work for petals. But if you want to do just the round flowers with the round ones, let's talk about how to do that. I'm going to take this littlest one first, and we're going to make one. Let's pick a thread. Again, this does not need to be, you don't need to cut this one off. And the first step is to tape it behind, same as usual. Your warping is going to be about the same. There's not a whole lot of difference in the warping, except that you can do multiple rounds if you want. So I'm going to go around this one, and then around this one. And same thing. Each time I give the thread in the valley a buddy and go to the next one, give the thread in the valley a buddy and go to the next one, and work my way the whole way around. But maybe I want a bushier flower than this, because this will limit me to 18 petals, because there's 18 spokes. Now, for me, this is where it gets complicated. Everybody has a buddy, so we're back to the very first one again. But in this case, we just keep right on going. So we're going to go around that one, has two. Now this one has two. And this is easier for me to do from the back side, so I can see the one that I'm headed to next. Okay, where did I just put three? 1, 2, 3. So that one is next. Now I need the back. So I went around that one. That one's got 3. And then this one has got 3. Can you see on the back how I'm able to tell which ones I'm on? Because I can tell how many wraps they have on the back. Or you can number them and pay really close attention. Or I did the best I could and didn't quite have it perfect, but it works, because they are loose when you get done. Also, because this is a flower, I am winding these tight. I'm not worried about them being loose. Okay, so now there's 2 around each one. And I could keep going and get 3 around each one. That might be what I've done here. But I'm going to hang off at this point. I'm going to give it a little bit of... So I'm going to go down right over here. Okay, now at this point we have 2 different options. I don't know if you can see them very well, so let me bring them up here. And hit focus. Okay, this one is called lashed, and you just lash it together. Well, there's kind of 3. This one you lash from side to side and you cover the whole thing. This one you lash from the center out. And this one, can you tell? It's a little bit tiny. Can you see how it has a blanket stitch all the way around it? So we're either going to lash all the way across, lash from the center out, or add a blanket stitch. I kind of want to show you those others. So if we are going to lash the whole thing, then I wouldn't come up from the back. I'd come in right over here, and I would just go under here, straight across to the other side. That's right there. Well, I won't. I'll pull it through in a minute. And you're going to want to pull it as tight as you can. Now, again, I didn't start there. And then go to the next one. Go straight across. Okay, go to the next one. Go straight across. Okay, so you can see how that will give us a lash all the way. If we were doing the middle ones, we would go under and to the back. Okay, and then we'd come out in the middle. And then we go to the next one and under and to the back. And then come out in the middle, and then go to the next one, the under and the back. And that would give us those this one, where it's lashed, but it's still got a middle to it. All right, now let me cut this one off. Okay, to do the blanket stitch version, we do not want to start with our thread. Well, we can start with our thread coming out of the middle, but we need it to be right on the edge of one of these little, yeah. So I'm going to tape it here just so it'll hold still. Then I'm going to go down through the middle and come out here and sew it just like a blanket stitch. We're going to put that behind us. Same thing. Down in the middle, come out the next spoke or in the middle of the next spoke. Thread goes behind because we're making a blanket stitch. Down in the middle, come out in between the next set of stitches or next spokes. Thread goes behind. Is it starting to look like that buttonhole or blanket stitch for you? Okay, there's two here. I'm going to make sure I come out in between those two spokes. Down in the middle. Keep the thread behind so it'll give you the blanket stitch look. Down in the middle. Behind. Down in the middle. You can see that I've got to pay attention to which spokes I'm going out between. I'm going out that one this time. And you just keep going all the way around, and that will make your little blanket stitched circle. So you have the thrashing that is across the whole center. You have the thrashing that's through the middle, and then you have the blanket stitch option for centers. Those are the three main ones that I've seen done. Let's see, down in the middle. All right, let's get all the way around. Now you'll also notice that in most of my sample ones that are hanging out here, not all of them, but I leave the thread on the back. Why do I leave the thread long like that? Because that makes a perfect thread to stitch it down to your project. So I will either leave the pink long on this or the yellow from the center. This is very tight. I'm going to have a struggle to get it off, I think, to begin with. I didn't think about how much tighter it would make it. I was thinking flower, so it doesn't matter. I don't have to be loose, but I still think I can get it off, though. Okay, let's take that tape out of the way. We only have a few more. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like we've still got a big gap there, but... And I could just take it to the back, or I could do one more to fill that spot in between. Then for sure they will pull nicely together. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to leave that long. Now it's just a matter of taking it off. I guess I'm showing you tips and tricks for how to get it off if it's really tight. Oh, we got two off. Now let's get the last one off. There we go. That's the first one off. Okay, I'm not sure how I have, okay, that's that one. What's this? Oh, that's an extra tail too. All right, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna leave these pink tails short, and I'll keep my yellow ones for longer. Okay, same thing. Sharp needle so that it can get underneath them. Bring it to the side, try and stretch it up, give it a little pull. Okay, get one, get two. Come on, people, jump off of there. This is how I broke the one, by going like this, so be careful about that. If you have a set and you break one, you can contact me about purchasing just the replacement one that you need. There's 2 off. Okay, we are going to get the rest of these off, and then we'll tie these 2 together and tuck this to the back. Perfect. 2. Let's keep going. Once you get going, they're a lot easier, except you do hit that one tight spot, remember. There's 3. Okay, let's take these threads to the back. I'm going to take them down right in between, because I'm afraid if I just go over the edge that they'll just flop right back out. So I'm going to take them back down in the yellow section. Okay, that'll just keep it behind there. Now that one's short enough. I probably would tack it down first to make sure that I don't have it flopping out. Okay, so there is one of the larger. Oh, it doesn't pull through. There we go. Now it doesn't show. There is one of this buttonhole center, but larger. Okay. If you have any questions about the Yorkshire Button Looms and how to use them to create the different things that you've seen, shoot me a message and I will get back with you.